Hey guys, welcome back. Boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, movie fans. Welcome back to Retro Movie Palace, and we're taking a look back today at a classic fantasy film out of 1984, The NeverEnding Story. Taking a look back.
Thanks, Gerd. Have you ever been swept away into a world where imagination knows no bounds? Let us take you to the classic cult, The NeverEnding Story. Released in 1984, this fantasy film, directed by Wolfgang Petersen in his first English-language venture, invites viewers into wonder and adventure. Adapted from Michael Ende's 1979 novel and brought to life by a talented cast, including Noah Hathaway and Barrett Oliver, it tells the story of a young boy who discovers a magical book filled with secrets and peril. Produced outside the United States or the Soviet Union, it broke barriers as one of the most expensive films of its time. So, let's take a trip back to this beloved cinematic gem and find the timeless magic it possesses. Before we move forward, remember to show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's dig into the plot summary. Plot summary. 10-year-old Bastian Bucks, a solitary figure, resides with his recently widowed father. Concerned about his son's tendency to doodle unicorns in his math book, Bastian's father urges him to abandon fantasy for reality. On his way to school, bullies pursue Bastian, seeking refuge in a bookstore owned by the grumpy Mr. Coriander. Intrigued by a particular book in Coriander's possession, Bastian is warned of its unconventional nature, deemed unsafe for casual readers. Undeterred, Bastian clandestinely borrows the book, The NeverEnding Story, leaving behind a note vowing to return it. Seeking solace in the school attic, he digs into its pages, eager for the adventure it promises. The book tells a story about a made-up place called Fantasia. Something wrong called the Nothing is slowly destroying Fantasia. The leader of Fantasia, the Childlike Empress, is sick. A young fighter named Atreyu is told to find a cure for her. They believe Fantasia will be safe from the Nothing if she gets better. Atreyu gets a unique necklace called the Orin to help him. He goes on a journey, but the Nothing sends a scary wolf creature named Gomork to stop him. Atreyu is on a big journey and meets a wise old turtle named Morla in the swamps of sadness. But sadly, his horse Artax gets stuck and can't go on. Morla doesn't want to help because she's not feeling well and doesn't care much. She tells Atreyu to find the Southern Oracle, which is very far away. Then Morla goes back to sleep. Atreyu gets tired and almost gets caught by a scary creature called Gomork, but luckily, a friendly dragon named Falkor saves him. Falkor takes Atreyu to meet two little people who know about the Southern Oracle. Atreyu goes through one gate, but at the second gate, he sees himself in a mirror, which surprises a boy named Bastian, who is reading the story. Atreyu finally meets the Southern Oracle, who says the only way to save someone is to find a human child from outside their world and give her a new name. Bastian thinks about naming the Empress after his mom, who passed away. Atreyu and Falkor leave quickly as a scary thing called the Nothing starts destroying the Southern Oracle. During their journey, Atreyu falls off Falkor's back into a mysterious place called the Sea of Possibilities. Because of something called the Nothing, he loses something called Aaron while doing so. He wakes up on the shore near some old abandoned buildings with paintings showing his adventures, including one with a creature called Gomork. Gomork then appears and tells Atreyu that the world they're in, Fantasia, is made of people's imaginations and has no limits. The Nothing, on the other hand, represents losing hopes and dreams. Atreyu fights and defeats Gomork, just as the Nothing starts destroying the ruins. Falkor gets back the Aaron and saves Atreyu. They end up in a space with just bits of Fantasia left. They worry they failed, but then they see the Empress's ivory tower. Inside, Atreyu says, "Sorry for not doing well," but the Empress says he did great by bringing a human kid named Bastian. She explains that just like Bastian follows Atreyu's story, others follow Bastian's, making it part of the NeverEnding Story. As the Nothing starts to swallow the tower, the Empress tells Bastian he needs to say her new name to save Fantasia. At first, Bastian doesn't believe he's part of the story and remembers his dad's words. But after the Empress begs him, he calls out, "Moonchild," from the attic window, giving in to the truth. Bastian wakes up with the Empress, who gives him a tiny piece of sand, the only thing left from Fantasia. The Empress says Bastian can use his imagination to bring Fantasia back. So Bastian imagines Fantasia again and rides on Falkor's back to see everything restored, like Atreyu and Artax. Falkor asks Bastian what he wants next, and Bastian decides to bring Falkor into the real world to deal with some bullies from school. The movie says Bastian had more adventures and wishes, but that's a different story. Box office with critical reception. The movie did well at the box office. It made $100 million worldwide, but it cost about $25 to $27 million. Almost 5 million people in Germany watched it, which is a lot for German movies. It made about $20 million there. It made a similar amount in the United States. But that's not considered a lot because American audiences didn't connect with it as much due to its European style. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie scored 83% based on reviews from 46 critics. The average rating given by them is 7 out of 10. The consensus on the site says, "It's a great adventure for kids about a boy's imagination, saving a fantasy world." Metacritic gives it a score of 46 out of 100, based on reviews from 10 critics, which means the reviews were mixed or average. Magical adventures and movie reviews. Review 1. The NeverEnding Story is one of my favorite movies. It's just so magical. The music is fantastic, and the story is simple yet effective. The scenery, sets, and costumes are all visually stunning. Falkor is a beautiful character, so warm and lovable. But I have to admit, Gmork is pretty scary. The acting is excellent, especially Barrett Oliver as Bastian and Noah Hathaway as Atreyu. Tommy Stronach, as the Childlike Empress, also plays a small but essential role. This movie is almost perfect and carries a beautiful message. However, the second film is all right, but the third one is terrible. Overall, I'd rate this movie 10/10. Review 2. The NeverEnding Story is something extraordinary. It's a remarkable movie experience that feels out of this world. This fantasy film stands out in many ways: the stunning visuals, the fantastic special effects, and the captivating soundtrack. The music by Giorgio Moroder and Klaus Doldinger, significantly Limahl's NeverEnding Story, adds to its charm. The movie is thrilling and full of adventure, with a diverse cast of characters like Falkor, the Luck Dragon, and Atreyu, the young warrior. The story draws you in initially, making you feel deeply involved. The actors, including Barrett Oliver and Noah Hathaway, deliver beautiful performances. Directed by Wolfgang Petersen, this German production filmed in English is truly a masterpiece. It's a timeless classic that deserves a spot among the top movies ever. Review 3. Let's start with the effects. While CGI has changed fantasy, I still appreciate the epic long shots and clever matte shots that create the world of Fantasia. The sets are well built and convincing, and the practical effects bring creatures to life, making me marvel at the craftsmanship. The score by Klaus Doldinger, with additions by Giorgio Moroder in the American version, sets an energetic yet dark tone. While kids will enjoy it, I feel anyone can appreciate the deeper themes, like in my favorite scene with Atreyu and Gmork. Their dialogue speaks volumes about humanity and the loss of dreams. This movie is a classic and one of my personal favorites. That's it for today's video. Remember to hit the like and bell buttons if you liked it. Stay tuned for our next video. Take care until then.